The purpose of this video is to provide an overview of InDrafting within Prompt. Specifically, I will explain how InDrafting supports organisations' internal document workflow, followed by a demonstration of the end-to-end InDrafting process within Prompt. Lastly, I will demonstrate how InDrafting can be used when checking out or copying an existing document. This diagram is a visual representation of how InDrafting can support your organisation's document management process. Organisations without InDrafting turned on most likely have a manual process of requesting, creating and reviewing documents outside of Prompt before submitting, approving and publishing within Prompt. With InDrafting switched on, organisations can automate their existing document workflow and bring existing processes into Prompt. InDrafting therefore hosts document requests, drafting and reviewing, which can then be checked in and approved before publishing, without the document needing to leave the system. These functions can be toggled on and off and are configured to suit your organisation's workflow, so you do not need to utilise all functions within InDrafting if they are not required. Additionally, InDrafting offers a robust and efficient audit trail by shifting the document workflow from multiple external applications like Microsoft Word and Outlook into one central location. For the purposes of this demonstration, all InDrafting functionality has been enabled. Starting with the requisition process. Requisitions is making a request for a new document to be created. Currently, your organisation might use a form for internal team members and executives to fill in to request a document to be reviewed, deleted or created. This request form may need to be downloaded from Prompt or another site like your internal intranet page. To help automate this process, a form has been configured in Prompt that can be accessed by all Prompt users within your organisation via the Help menu. To create a requisition, click Request a Prompt document. All mandatory fields will appear at the top of the screen and must be completed in order to complete the requisition. Requester name and email details will automatically populate if the requester is logged into Prompt. If the requester is not logged into Prompt, then they can enter their details into the appropriate fields. Document name is a mandatory field, however it's important to note that the name can be changed at a later stage in the drafting process if required. The same applies for department and document type drop-downs, and can be changed at a later stage in the drafting process. The bottom section of the requisition form is optional and configurable by your organisation and allows the requester to provide more details to support the requisition. In this example, additional questions have been configured. It's important to note that these questions are not mandatory, however you can configure these to be mandatory if required. Once all the details have been completed, select Submit. A pop-up message will appear confirming the request has been submitted. At this time, the requisition approver will receive an email notification advising them to log in and review the request. Additionally, the owner can access the requisition via the Requisitions tab within the user's home page. Requisitions will automatically populate when going to the home page when requisitions are turned on. To view the details of the requisition, click View Requisition. The requisition approver can now evaluate the requests and either approve or reject the requisition. Please note the requisition approver or prompt admin can be the requisition approver, and anyone can be assigned to this role of requisition approver at any stage. It can be one person for the whole organisation or owners for every section or department. All details entered by the requester will be viewable on the Requisitions Detail tab, including the answers to the questions asked at the request stage. Now at this stage, if I don't need this document to be created, I can click the Reject button and outline the reason for rejecting the request. For this example, I will proceed to the Document Details section as I know I want this document to be created. Here, I can review and amend any of the details on the screen, including the name of the document. For this example, I'm happy with the document name. It is in the correct department and it is the correct document type, but I will assign a section for this example. Once completed, click Next. This screen enables me to assign the author to the document. As you can see, the Assign Document Author screen will automatically assign the requester of the document. However, this can be updated to another prompt user within your organisation. Please be aware that only one person can be assigned as the document author, and the person selected will be the owner of the process and will be responsible for facilitating the drafting, reviewing, and submission process for this document. In this instance, I want to update the author to another user, so I can either search for the relevant author in the search bar or scroll through the list of users and click the user of choice. Please note that the available list of authors is subject to document author rights being assigned to the relevant user accounts. Once you've assigned the author, click Approve. A pop-up message of success will appear. From here, two things will happen. The requester will receive a notification with the details, and the author will also receive a notification with a link to the document advising them to log in and start drafting the document. This concludes the requisition process and brings us to the drafting stage. If requisitions are turned off, then draft will be the first process of the workflow. So when we add a document, as we usually do, the document will go straight into the Draft tab. When requisitions are turned on, the Requisitions tab will be the first available tab for the document workflow. And the document approved on the Requisitions tab will populate onto the Draft tab. It's important to note that the prompt administrator can see all documents sitting under any of the InDrafting tabs that have been configured for your organisation, as their permissions enable them to have a high-level view of the organisation's workflow. The document that was approved at requisition stage is now available for drafting. You will see the document name, document author, and the version details for this document. To draft this document, click Draft. This draft screen offers online, real-time collaboration of document drafting to document authors and is achieved using the Online Office online editor. This means that every time a document is checked out, the document will be directed to the Draft tab for the reviewers to view or update the content accordingly. This removes the need to manually download a document, open in Word or Adobe, review the document, email to other reviewers, all before checking in the document back into prompt. If the document type selected at the time of assigning a document author has a template configured, then this document will automatically upload the template associated with that document type. You can assign a template to any document type configured within your organisation, or you can choose to leave this page as a blank document for all document types. As you can see, OnlyOffice is designed to operate like Microsoft Word. You can insert images and tables, update formatting, and also manage track changes throughout the drafting and review stage. Additionally, the document author can invite co-authors to assist in the drafting of this document whilst the document is still in draft status. It is important to ensure that track changes is turned on in the initial stages of document authoring. To do that, scroll down to the bottom of the page and toggle on track changes. Once you're happy with your initial draft of the document, you can now proceed to the review stage, or you can invite co-authors. To invite co-authors, click Manage Co-authors. The list of current authors appears, which as you can see is only myself, as I am the assigned document author. From here you can invite anyone to be a co-author. The co-author does not need to be a prompt user. All that is required is a valid email address. Once you've entered the email address, click Invite. Repeat this process to invite additional co-authors if required. You will notice on this screen that the document author can reassign document author to another user within your organisation. They can also resend links to the invitees and also revoke invitations if need be. All co-authors will receive an email notification with a link inviting them to co-author. As you can see on the screen, the co-authoring experience is designed to be collaborative. You will see that 2 authors are currently drafting this document and are also able to leave comments on the sidebar for other authors and future reviewers. Track changes and comments can then be reviewed at the approval stage, as these details will be visible in the Consultation History tab. All authors can save and exit out of this document anytime throughout the drafting stage. Once the author is happy with the document, they can accept any changes before progressing to the next stage, or they can leave these changes until the document has been reviewed. In this example, I will accept all track changes and provide additional commentary before submitting for review. Please be aware that this will close the authoring stage of the workflow, meaning no further changes can be made and all existing co-authoring links will expire. Now, reviews are a timed process for invited reviewers to be able to respond and comment on the final draft as submitted by the document author, who will then accept or reject any additional changes made post-review. Once you select Submit for Review, 2 pieces of information are required. The priority, which is the date for the reviewers to review by, and it's important to select the correct priority as the review period cannot be extended and the reviewers will be unable to review once the review period has lapsed. Please note that all priority timelines are configurable by your organisation. The second piece of information required is the email addresses of the reviewers. This works the same as the co-authors, as you can invite reviewers both inside and outside the organisation. Each reviewer must be invited separately for auditing purposes and for the management of track changes. Please ensure you click Invite after every email address. Once all reviewers are invited, you will see a rolling tally of all invited reviewers along with a status. In this example, the reviewers are waiting to accept their invitation. You can revoke these invitations at any time. Once you've completed all of your invites, click Submit for Review to continue. As you can see, this document is now in a status of review. The document author can click Manage Reviewers, Finish Review, or Save and Exit. As a review process is now required, we are going to save and exit. The invited reviewer can click the link within the email notification to commence the review process, or they can navigate to their homepage and click the Reviews tab, and then review against the document. From here, the reviewer can make amendments and add comments if required. Once they have finished reviewing, they click Save and Exit. The document author will receive a notification to advise whenever a reviewer has reviewed the document. The document author can return to the document on their Review tab at any stage to manage the review process. Once the document review process is finalised, the document author will click Finish Review. Pop-up confirmation messages will appear and notifications will be sent to the reviewers to advise that a document has now been submitted. This document will now appear in the Submissions tab for the submission owner to check in the document. There are 2 configurable options for the submission process. The first is allowing the document author to submit the document, meaning they can check in and automatically publish the document into Prompt. So they will be responsible for assigning the relevant standards and legislation to the document at the time of check-in. The second option is configuring a submission process and assigning a submission owner to the relevant section or department within Prompt. Additionally, the second option allows you to configure an optional form that can be completed at the time of checking in the document. The questions included in this form are configurable and can be mandatory or non-mandatory questions, or a combination of the 2. For this example, the second option has been chosen. To proceed, click Check In. The check-in document screen will appear and includes 4 tabs: Document Details, Standard, Legislation, and the new tab, Other Questions, which includes the questions configured in the form that I previously mentioned. Complete the details on the Document Details, Standard, and Legislation tabs as you would today when checking in a document. Next, complete all questions on the Other Questions tab. The questions that appear on this tab are questions I've chosen to ask the submission owner. Once again, you can configure this form to suit your organisation's needs or turn off the submission form if it is not required. Once this section is completed, you can click Check in Document. The document author will receive a notification to advise that their document has been checked in. This brings us to the final stage of InDrafting, which is the approval process. If approvals are turned on for your organisation, then this document will now appear on the Approvals tab for final approval before publishing the document into Prompt. If approvals are turned off, this document will publish once it is checked in. The approval process ensures that the final approver can review the life cycle of the document before approving. Click Approve to continue. The approver is able to review the questions completed at the submission stage to ensure the form was completed. Additionally, the approver is able to check the consultation history of this document to see at a higher level which individuals were included in the authoring and reviewing stages. And the approver is also able to click View Document Changes to see the low-level detail and change history of the document throughout the drafting and reviewing stages. Once the details have been reviewed, click Close. From here, the approver is now able to complete a checklist. This checklist is configurable like that of the submission form and can be disabled by your prompt admin if it is not required. Common questions asked at this stage are used as a final check to ensure the document does or doesn't have certain information included. Complete the questions as required, and when ready, click Confirm Approval. Once approved, the document will process and publish into Prompt with the status of active. This concludes the end-to-end process of InDrafting for a newly requested document in Prompt and brings us to the final stage of the demonstration, which is how the InDrafting functionality can be used for existing and copied documents. If InDrafting is turned on, the document will appear in the Draft tab whenever an existing document is checked out with a checkout reason of change. Once checked out, you are able to click Draft and commence working on the document, like you saw earlier. If the document is checked out for review, then the document will appear in the Checkout tab, as it does today. Lastly, with InDrafting enabled, you are able to pre-draft documents whenever you copy another organisation's document. To do this, you will need to navigate to the Search tab and click on the tick box to the left of the document you wish to copy from another organisation and click Copy Documents. Complete the department, section and document type details and click Submit. Please note that for pre-draft to work, the document type selected must have a template assigned for your organisation. Once copied, the document will appear in the Checkout tab on your homepage. Click Pre-draft to commence. As you can see, the copied document is now on the left-hand side of the screen, and my organisation's template is on the right-hand side of the screen. From here, you can copy and paste the information you require onto your document. Please note that you cannot edit any of the information on the left-hand side of this document. You can only copy the content. Once you've finished with the copied document, click Start Drafting to move the document into the Draft tab and close the other organisation's document. From here, you can continue the drafting process as seen earlier. This brings us to the end of the InDrafting Overview demonstration. If you would like to discuss any of the functionality you have seen in this video, please contact support@prompt.org.au or call 1300 123 630 to find out more. Thanks for watching.